So I recently read The Spectacular Now by Tim Tharp, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I mentioned that I wanted to see the movie, and I saw the trailer, and it looked pretty different from the book, and I kind of wanted to do a book-to-movie comparison. And I watched the movie, and now I'm doing a book-to-movie comparison. So actually the movie was very, very, very similar to the book. And it did have some differences, but the differences were well done. It was almost like they weren't trying really hard to just stick to the book. They just decided to keep the same story and have a lot of the same things happen. So when things happened a little bit differently, it didn't really seem out of place, which was nice, and things didn't really seem rushed. The thing that I noticed the most about the movie was that it had the same sort of atmosphere that the book had. Like, I felt like it completely captured the emotions that I had when I was reading the book. I felt like it had that same type of feeling and essence, which is really awesome. That's really what you want to look for when a book is going to be turned into a movie. You want to have that same kind of feeling. The things that were different, without spoiling anything, were mostly the characters themselves. I felt like Sutter was a much more likable character in the movie than he was in the book. And that could just be because you heard more into his thoughts a lot more in the book than you did in the movie, so he was doing these sweet things, but in the book you read about why he was doing these sweet things, and it wasn't a sweet reason, really. Sometimes it was, but most of the time he was just being a douche and full of himself. And in the movie, he was just doing these sweet things. So you were like, aw, Sutter. Where in the book, you're like, aw, Sutter. And then, duh, Sutter. And I thought Amy was way too confident in herself in the movie. Because in the book, she was very shy and very awkward. And she wore awkward clothes, and she was very quiet, and she was like a really big pushover. And in the movie, she seemed very, very like sure of herself. Like when they first met for the first time, even just the way she says, "Do you live around here, Sutter?" just made it seem like she was cool, and that she, like it wasn't weird that she knew who he was, kind of thing. Like, of course I know who you are. Why wouldn't I know who you are? You should know who I am. It kind of had that kind of feeling to it behind her voice, I feel like. And a lot of the times, I just felt like she wasn't as awkward in the movie. She was just a girl. She was definitely more awkward in the book, in the book she obviously grew a little bit and got a little less awkward, but she still, towards the end, had very awkward moments, and still wore awkward clothes and everything, and in the movie she was just a very normal person who didn't stand out at all as someone who might be a bit of a loner or something like that, you know? The thing that I did really like as well about the movie was that it wasn't very glamorous. People had pimples and pores, and not everyone was like completely skinny and deathly skinny, and they were just wearing regular clothes, and it really just looked very, very natural and very real. And their conversations were very natural, very genuine. Like, it really did not feel like I was watching a movie. It felt like I was just watching people have a conversation, which is awesome because I said in my book review that it didn't feel like I was reading a book. It felt like I was having a conversation with someone. And that's what the movie felt like. It felt like you were just sitting there watching people talk because you're weird and you want to listen to these random strangers talk. It didn't feel scripted at all. It felt incredibly genuine, and I really, really, really liked that about it. Everyone was very real, and they weren't all super glamorous with makeup and everything, and you could like see their pores and all that regular stuff like in real life. But two main people in the book were supposed to be fat, and no one in this movie was fat. Cassidy was supposed to be fat, and Sutter was supposed to like that she was fat, and then Kristen was also supposed to be fat, and they were both not fat. So that bugged me a little bit. Why can't you have fat people in movies? There are lots of fat people in real life, so put them in movies. So I'm gonna get into some spoilers now, so don't continue if you haven't either seen the movie or read the book, or either or, and you want to. If you don't care about spoilers or you like being spoiled, then of course continue watching. But the thing that I liked that they took out was Amy's like slight rape thing that she talked about from her stepbrother, and that was awkward to read about. And I mean, it's always nice not having those type of awkward scenes and things, because no one really wants to read about that. I mean, it's obviously something real and something that does happen in real life, but personally, I liked that they took it out just because I don't know, it's really like dark stuff that, I don't know. it kind of was like, whoa, when they said it in the book, and I was like, ugh. Again, with like the awkward stuff, how Amy was way more awkward in the book. Like, even when they went to prom, she had like this yellow dress that didn't fit her properly, and it wasn't like super pretty, and it didn't really like flatter her, and I can't remember how Sutter described it, but the way that I pictured it was that she kind of looked childish in it, that it wasn't, you know, the type of dress that you would wear to prom. And it was a nice dress in the movie. There was nothing wrong with it whatsoever, and she didn't seem awkward. Again, she didn't seem awkward at all, ever. She seemed extremely confident in herself. And then when they had sex for the first time, I thought it was way sweeter in the book, because they were like, first they were just on her couch, and then and just the way that she was asking, like she was like, can we go upstairs? And he was like, sure we can. And then she was like, can we take our clothes off? And he was like, sure we can. And it was very, very cute, and I loved the way he said, sure we can. And then he didn't say it in the movie, and they just did it, and it wasn't as cute. And then also when Amy got hit by the car, I kind of wish it happened the way that it did in the book, because in the book he was mad at himself for drinking and driving and almost getting into an accident, and he got out of the car and he was like, I'm never driving again, I'm walking home. And then she ran after him, and that's when she got hit by the car. And in the book, he was making her get out of the car. He was like, get out of the car! And then she got out of the car and she got hit, and it was like, oh my god! That's horrible! That's like even worse, and in two ways, because he made her get out of the car, and that he wasn't as upset with himself as he was in the book, because he was like, I can't even do this, I need to leave, and like, I'm gonna walk home because I'm a douche, kind of thing. And then I thought it was really, really sweet at the end when he got home and was crying to his mom. That was heartbreaking and so nice to see. Like, I love it when guys cry, because then it shows that they're human. I didn't really like that they changed the ending! They didn't really change the ending, they just added to it. Well, also too, no, they did change it, because in the book he said that he wanted to, like, he made Amy think that he was going to go with her to Philadelphia or whatever they wanted to move to. He said that he just needed to do summer school first, and that he was going to go at the end of the summer, and she believed him, but he was never going to go, because he knew that if he said he wasn't going to go, that she wouldn't go. And so that's why he, like, lied to her about going, because he wanted her to go and have that. And she shouldn't let some guy in high school hold her dreams back, right, just because he doesn't want to go with her. So he lied and said, I'm going to go with you, but I'm going to get there later, so you need to still go and get set up. And then once she found out that he wasn't coming, she's not like she would come home. And in the movie, he just didn't show up at the bus station when she was expecting him, and she was like, oh, what a douche, well, I guess I'll go anyway. So he seemed like more of a douche, like, there was less reasoning behind what he was doing and less planning, I guess, so it just seemed like he was just being an ass and being like, nope, not going with you. And in the book, it was more, it was definitely sweeter, the reasoning behind it, like, it was more thoughtful, for sure, than just, sorry, I'm not coming with you. And then obviously how they made it more pleasing to the audience by him showing up at her school at the end. That did not happen in the book. Obviously, if you've read it, if you haven't read it, I warned you about spoilers, so it's not my fault. I just did it because it's an audience pleaser, people like happy endings, but I think it was good leaving it the way it was. I mean, they're not meant for each other, they're not going to spend their lives together, so I mean, most people don't stay with their high school boyfriend and girlfriend anyway, and so I think they obviously just did it because people like happy endings, and it was cute how, like, nothing really happened. They just saw each other and then it ended, so that was kind of cute, how it wasn't like full on, oh, and 3 years later we're still together kind of thing. But yeah, it was a good movie. I'll definitely watch it again. I really, really liked it. I liked the style of it, and I liked, again, how genuine it was, and it was very, very similar to the book, and matched the book quite well, and it matched the essence and, like, the feelings of the book really well. They did a great job. It should be more popular than it is, I think. And I'm sad that it wasn't, like, in all theaters everywhere. It was only in some. So, yeah, definitely good.